Working? Mm-hmm. Perfect. You can just come over. I might take a small water bottle too, if you don't mind. Drink that on there. Can I unmute people?
I think they should.
Oh no, look, I can unmute them.
Hi
guys. I'm unmuting you so I can hear you. Hi guys.
I'm here.
Hi, Kelly.
Hi. How you guys doing?
Good.
Are you not good? Penny, how you doing? Got a bit of an echo, eh?
Good, but I'm multitasking, so I'll keep myself muted.
Okay. I think we should restart it because the mute.
Well, let's let other people go on mute.
Okay. Okay, guys, we're gonna put you back all on mute now. Sorry. When it's question time, you can unmute yourself. There's an echo because I unmuted you all. I apologize. There, I muted you. And good job, guys. Oh, Riley, you look unmutable. Okay. There we go. Have you guys got it on that tile view where you can see everybody? That's the best. Rachel, are you there? I would love to see everyone's faces.
Hey, Kelly Ray. Hi. It's Rachel.
Hi. How's it going, Kel? Are you at home? Hi, Andrea.
Yeah, sorry, I just have myself on mute because we have the cartoons going in the background. So
No worries. No worries. I'll put you back on mute.
cartoons.
Can you text Chelsea, Riley, and Rachel? Just ask them if they wouldn't mind putting their pictures on for me. Okay, guys, we'll get started. I think, are we live on Facebook too? Well, sorry, one sec. I'm just gotta get live on Facebook here.
I won't have a picture. I'm trying to walk my dog at the exact same time as doing this. So
Oh, we would love to see that picture, Chelsea.
you can just watch my dog walk.
Yes, I'll take it. You can turn the phone around occasionally and smile at me because I'm going to be giving you shout outs. So
Okay.
it'd be nice to see your happy face. It's Dudley, right? Your dog's name?
Yeah, Dudley.
I'm happy to watch him wiggle that little butt for the most part. Oh, Andrea's got her dog too. Okay, new rule. Everyone go get their dogs.
Hey, Kelsey, this is my dog.
Oh, Penny, are you at the office?
No, I'm at home, but
Do you have poodle?
yeah, Sophie is her name. Anyway,
Hi, Sophie.
I'll take her off now. But just since you said that, you're right. Dogs help deal with the
Thank
stress.
you. My husband took my dog home, but I had her wearing a Santa costume today. It was very good for morale. Okay. Oh, wait, it says I have to admit these other people. Sorry, one moment. Hi, guys. Sorry if you're just joining us. We haven't started yet, so welcome. Hi, Jeff. Nice to see you. Chantel, Riley, Travis, Janice, Rick, Andrea, Penny. So if you can, guys, I'd love to see your face as you're listening, watching. I have sort of a plan and outline I want to go through here. And at any point, though, anybody can, wave their hands or type a question in the chat. And it'll show up here, right, Laura? Did you know I had people to admit over here? Oh, okay. Okay, perfect, thanks. So every time somebody else adds, I'll have to join them? Okay. So yeah, if you guys want to type a question at any point, hi Riley, add a question at any point, I'll see it here in the chat, and then I'll address it to the group. For the most part, I'm going to talk about leadership, really successful ways of thinking, and then some strategic planning. So how are we going to plan for our businesses after this, okay? And then I'm going to give the floor to Chris from Upsourced HR. He joined us last time. He's been my go-to HR expert the last few weeks, and he's been helping all of my clients for free, being incredibly generous with his time. I think the last request I had of him, I think we were both on the phone with business owners till midnight the other night, and he said, yeah, just let me put my kids to bed and then I'll get back to them. So he's been really amazing. So Chris, I just wanted to thank you for that. And I welcome you to the call again, because people have been really getting helped by your advice. So probably the last 15 minutes of the call, Chris will give you some updates, and you guys can ask him any questions that you want about, like laying off staff and EI. He's also knowledgeable about self-employed people getting that money. Right, Chris?
Sorry, just
updated.
unmuting myself. I have some information, but as we discussed, I'll defer some of that information to the accountants as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've got some information here too. We've got BDC, the EI, all that sort of stuff. So we can kind of, at the end, we'll direct them to the resources that they need when we find out what they do need. Before we get started, I wanted to go through everyone who's willing to participate in this. I really appreciate. If you're shy and you just want to watch, that's fine too. But to start the call, I really want to hear your 12-month vision. Like, what's the goal 12 months from now? What's the business going to look like? Oh. Sorry guys, just one sec. Laura's just doing some magic on my computer.
I don't know if it'll go left, but I can put it right there later.
It says live preparing. To YouTube and Facebook.
You can only do one at a time.
So we're doing Facebook, right? Okay. Sorry guys. Okay, so we're gonna get started by having everyone share, or the people who want to share, their 12-month vision. So, and I don't want you to edit this vision. I want you to give me your 12-month vision, your goal, the picture of what it's going to look like 12 months from now, unedited, the way that it was before Corona came, this version of Corona. So who is willing to play? Who wants to share with me what they want their life to look like 12 months from now, their life and their business?
Do you want us to unmute or in the chat?
Yeah, please, go ahead. Let's hear it, Andrea.
Okay. Our vision is to triple in size, which means taking over the bays beside us in our current location, and having competitive teams of 10 plus athletes on both the men's and women's side. Oh my gosh, my cats are fighting beside me.
Quickly share and then unmute.
And then I don't know, that's the big one, the triple in size and have some employees. So.
And cash flow and some savings. That's what I'm going to urge everyone to put into their visions.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that sounds good, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Who's next? Marcus. You knew I was going to pick on you, Marcus. Tell us your 12-month vision, my little friend. This kid's an inspiration, guys. He's the coach of the U of L soccer team.
A coach?
Marcus. I mean the captain, sorry.
Yeah, that one. Let's go with that one. No, not the coach.
He comes around for mentoring once in a while. He's actually really been an inspiration to me. So I'm eager to hear his 12-month goals.
Good. I'm glad I can be an inspiration for you. Couple things going on right now. One, I'm running sorry, my roommate's talking. Financial education business. So I want to have 10 licensed agents on my team by the end of the year. Got a couple in licensing process right now. As for soccer, we want to make playoffs this year for U of L. And the way we're staying positive right now is we just had an emergency Zoom call, and we just kind of figure out different ways how we can still work out, keep each other accountable. So now we broke off into different teams, and now we were doing workouts together, like over Zoom and things like that. And then we also are going to do, I don't know if you've seen the home challenge for the toilet paper one, for the soccer one. So we're going to post on our social media just to do something to increase our awareness and just be a positive message to end those in the community. So that's kind of the game plan. Thanks, Kelly. Appreciate it.
Well, 12 months from now, though, you're going to be happy, successful, win the playoffs. You have 10 clients.
10 licensed agents. I'm pretty happy and successful right now, but to keep it going, that'd be nice.
Awesome.
Life's good, though.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. Jeff, do you want to share?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, in 12 months, I'm going to be established here in Lethbridge. I want to teach Lethbridge about our services that we provide, and definitely make it my full-time job and not have to go up north anymore. That would be great.
Awesome. And how
Yeah.
will that feel?
Oh, that'd be exhilarating. That would be awesome. Yep.
Awesome. Okay, and then how do you feel like that would change the way that you show up, like for your family?
Oh, at that point, I'd be able to tuck my kids into bed every day. That's the most important thing. Plus, my wife's due here in about 4 weeks, so I'll have another kid on the way. So I'll be able to spend more time there.
That's awesome. What a great vision. Okay, awesome. Got it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Kelly.
Here,
you
I'll
wanna share?
mute myself.
1 year from now, amazingness with the clinic and the family life and everything. Tell us what it's going to look like.
Jesus and I were just talking about that while everybody else was kind of going through, but we just want to stay on track with the vision that we had set out for ourselves for this year. So we want to have a full massage therapy staff. We started launching our corporate massage, and that was really taking off a couple weeks before this. So we just want to keep going with that and be full and busy all the time. And we want to be on our way to having our savings set aside and get our building that we want to get and that we projected to get. So we just want to keep going and not let this be a huge speed bump that we look back on and think is something negative. We just want to look back and say, you know, we did everything that we could. We planned around it. We made sure that our staff were safe, but we just want to, you know, have everybody go through it and then move forward from it. So.
And so how will you feel 12 months from now with that accomplished?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
We had planned to go on a few vacations this year, which are now going to be postponed. So hopefully we can go on some of those next year. So that's what we're going to look forward to now.
I'm gonna relentlessly push you guys on this call to refocus, right? So we want you to think about 12 months from now, either you're on one of those vacations or you're going next week. Do you know what I mean? Because when we revert back to, oh, we had to push some things back, or oh, because of this, like this call is going to be a lot about just like refocusing your mind, just getting you guys to be like any muscle, you know, like if you do abs a lot, you get abs. Well, some of you lucky people get abs, not all of us. But just exercising that focus muscle, because that is half the battle, right? Just focusing on the right things. So does anybody else want to share it, or should we keep going? Okay, guys. So we're going to talk about thinking like leaders for a little bit. There may be one or two things we talked about in the last call, but I really wanted to just mention, you know, probably 10 or 12 things here, and just jot down anything that speaks to you so that you can look at it often and you can use it. If you're feeling frustrated, if you're feeling scared, if you're feeling just off, or you just want to use it in your morning routine, these are some really good tools to use. So number one, you have to act like a role model. You have to remember that you're a role model. You're a business owner, you're a business leader, you're a parent, you're a captain, there's so many different roles in your life where you're leading people. And not only that, it's like on social media, for example, I don't know how many followers or friends you have, but like on LinkedIn, for example, I think we have like 6,000 followers now. So when I post something on LinkedIn, I have to remember, like, I'm role modeling, you know? Facebook's not as impressive. There's not as many people on there, but I still got a role model for those people. You know what I mean? For your nieces, your nephews, your neighbors, everybody who's looking up to you. Remember that you need to role model what you want to see from others. You have to be the change, right? So if you want the world to calm down and you want business to start going again and you want things to start flowing and you want people to be kind to each other, you really have to role model that. In terms of staying calm as a leader, I think the most helpful sentence for me has been that this is preventative. We have to remember that in Canada, we are just doing prevention work right now, right? We are not, sorry guys. We are just doing preventative work. We're not shut down like Italy and China. We're doing this to prevent that sort of problem, okay? So just keeping those things in mind so that you can role model that calm, positive, forward-thinking, optimistic leadership, okay? Number two, you have to feel good to unlock your creativity. So if you're feeling angry, frustrated, scared, fearful, that sort of stuff, those great ideas just don't come into your brain. We talked about this on the last call, but I wanted to touch on it again very quickly. Find ways to feel good. Like today, this morning, Nicki Minaj Starships, like stupidest song I would never think that I would like, came on, and I turned it up really loud and I seriously danced around because I was like, I am going to feel good today. I'm going to have solutions for people today. And it sounds ridiculous, but like Chelsea's walking her dog right now, as you all can see if you look over there at her square. But yeah, walk your dog, listen to music, eat your favorite foods, do like yoga in your house, watch movies that make you happy, but bath, whatever it is, but you have to feel good if you want to be creative problem solvers. Okay. Next, take care of yourself. I have not been taking that great of care of myself the last week. I've been so overwhelmed with so many people who need help that at the end of the day, I haven't eaten all day, and instead of eating, I'm like, no, I want a glass of wine. And my husband's like, no, you need to eat. And my husband's coming home from the gym, drinking a protein shake, and I'm drinking a glass of wine. And I'm like, yeah, he's role modeling for me, So I know that if I was, getting more exercise, getting more sleep, and eating better, that I would be feeling even better. So taking care of yourself, whatever that looks like for you. Visioning. So we got to have a vision. We have to talk about that 12-month vision, write it down somewhere, get really connected to it, because 12 months from now, this won't even be anything. 12 months from now, you are going to be successful. You are going to be happy. And I want you to know exactly what that looks like so that you can work towards it. And I really don't think you need to change that in any case. So if the goal was to have this much money and to serve this many customers and have a house in Maui or whatever it is, your business may look different. We may do business differently. We may start an entirely new business, but you can still get to that goal. So I really want you to hold on to that 12-month goal, that 12-month vision. Okay. Write it down somewhere. Talk about it. Lots, all the time. That's one of the good things that you can redirect your focus to. Yeah, well, in 12 months, this is how it's going to be. Next, make sure you guys are measuring employee engagement, okay? It's really important to know how engaged your staff are when you're trying to lead the team, because leading team through changes like this can be disastrous. I think it's 70% of change initiatives usually fail. And there are a few steps here that I've listed that really help with that. So if you want your change initiative, which means change has been brought upon us, we didn't even choose this one, right? If you want it to work, you got to make sure that you're measuring your staff engagement. Usually in change, successful change, we want to create some urgency so that people understand we need to change. But that urgency has been created for us by the internet. So we don't need to use urgency this time, but this change that we're going through, you got to create the vision, reiterate it, measure employee engagement often. You don't have to create urgency because it's been created. Be connected and take care of your people. So as we go through this change, you want to make sure that the leadership stuff, the leadership books you read, the leadership things you've learned from me, from other leaders, you have to be even more so of that leader right now, not less. A lot of people are reverting to their not best selves, and they're going to lose some staff. I have some businesses that were with me today, and they're still working, they're still open for business, and they're just doing things in a really, really mission aligned way. Everything's very clean. No one with any symptoms is allowed in. No one with any travel is allowed in, that sort of thing. But they're really, and our business is open too, our other business. And we're finding that people who come in are so grateful for that opportunity to connect, that opportunity to talk to a human person and be around, they're hanging around longer, they're spending more money. So if you are able to keep your business open, you've got it open right now, and you are following all of the regulations and the laws and the government recommendations, I say keep it going. And, if you have to close, well, then you close and we work on your business. We have so many things that we can do on our business, and that's my next section. If you've got time to work on your business, do it. Do it as much as you can, as fast as possible, because when things come back, you want to have a kick-ass business for clients to come back to. Well, think about some of your competitors. They may have spent the time just being angry and frustrated, or like maybe watching Netflix, but you're going to spend the time working on your business so that when the flood of people come back, because they always do after something like this, you're ready. I have 2 businesses in my office today that plan to double in the next year. And these are very realistic plans, okay? So I'm just gonna get through these leadership mentalities really quick. Take care of your people. You have to remember that. If you want some good reading on that, I would say Simon Sinek is a really good one. There's a book on my shelf pointed out a few hours ago, Leaders Eat Last, by Simon Sinek. Simon Sinek's a great leadership writer. Constantly redirect your team's focus, okay? So you know how when Kelly was talking and sharing with us about her vision, and then she got a little sidetracked and said, our vacations have had to be postponed, I would just very quickly be like, what'd you have for breakfast? She'd be like, what? Cheerios. And I'm like, okay, cool. What's your 12-month vision? You know, like just, you got to do that for your people. If you hear them start to be gossiping or complaining, or, you know, I don't know if you guys have ever read The Success Principles by Jack Canfield. He talks about the Ain't It Awful Club. He said the story is like he goes into a lounge full of teachers, and he realized that everybody was just having conversation after conversation that were like, isn't it awful? Have you heard about this? Isn't that awful? Isn't it horrible? Isn't it tragic? So that's like all social media news feeds right now, pretty much. Actually, I think we're making a dent, guys. I've started to see a lot more positive stuff out there, so thank you. So constantly redirect people's focus. Ask them what they're excited about, talk about the vision, ask them what cute things their kids have been doing since they're off school, or what fun things they've been up to because the government's paying them to stay at home if you've got staff at home. Just constantly help them to redirect their focus. And the best way to do that is with questions. I always tell my clients, as a leader, your questions are your superpowers. Okay. And I have one very special client I talked to last night who absolutely just turned around the most amazing situation with a staff member by asking the right questions and listening, and just huge breakthroughs. So just amazing. You guys want to remember that. Questions are your superpower. Okay. And that's a really good way to break somebody's pattern too. If they're really stuck in negativity, just ask them a good question, a question that will have to have a good answer. Like, well, what have you done lately that was fun? You know, or what are you excited to do when this is all over? You know, just really try, be that role model, constantly redirect their focus. I want to say 2 more things. One, now is the time that leadership matters the most. It's easy to be a leader when it's easy. When business is good and the money's flowing and you have no worries and there's lots of money in the bank and it's no problem to pay your staff and all your customers are happy and there's no crazy pandemic happening, it's easy to be a leader during that time. But it's hard to be a leader during this time. And this is when it matters the most. Like, do you guys get that? Like, this is when it matters. This is what we've been preparing for. This is why we have, you know, relationships with our staff. This is why we care about them. This is why, otherwise there's business owners out there who are just destroying themselves right now. The way they're treating their customers, their suppliers, and even their staff, you know, they're kind of, I'm fending for myself. They're very fearful. They're not sticking to their mission. They're not caring about people, and they will be losing some staff. I think, Chris, you're going to say something about that too, aren't you? Okay. So now is the time, guys. You need to be a stronger leader now than ever. And that means that you look at yourself, you work on yourself, and you care about your people. Okay? Because we need people when all the money starts getting spent again. So last on this leadership mentality thing, I just want to say you always have 2 choices. In this situation, you can be like most of the world, complaining, worrying, fearful, or angry. Or you can take action to work on building that dream. So we can work on the marketing plan. We can work on your strategic plan. We can work on your job descriptions and goals so that when the staff are here, we're ready. We can work on our budget for the year. We can work on our contingency plan. And we're going to get into these tools in a minute here. So it's like complain, be scared, be angry, or work on things so that your business can kill it when things get going again. And I think there's a lot of people actually, some on this call, but a lot of people I've talked to in the last few days, we've chosen to keep them open. Keep them open because part of the mission is to be a community. Part of the mission is to create connection with people. Part of the mission is to make people feel good. So to stay open and stay safely open, you know, like following all of the government recommendations and all of the precautions, and being able to serve people and make them feel good, I absolutely think unless we get told to shut, that we won't shut. So yeah, now we're going to start talking about some tools. So my favorite tools are having a budget, a financial plan for the year. So I'll start with that one. Actually, I should have put that at the top. So budgeting. And some of you might think, why are we talking about the same things that you always talk about as a business coach? And surprise, they're very important in times of crisis. So they're very, very helpful when it's not crisis, but they're even more helpful when it is a crisis. So my main thing is leadership, right? Being a leader, making sure that everyone has clear job descriptions, clear KPIs or goals, clear policies and procedures, and then systemizing that so that you check on the job description and the goals every month. You tell your staff, hey, here was your goal, here's how you did. Working on those relationships with your staff. The Speed of Trust is a great leadership book too, another great one. You should make a list we can maybe send out with a recording. Speed of Trust and Success Principles. So we're gonna talk about the budget first. And do I know how to share my screen on this? I don't need to, you guys probably can picture this for me, but we want to have a 12-month plan. We want to have a plan for how much revenue, expenses, and profit we'll have for each month for the next 12 months. Now, a lot of you on this call already have that 12-month plan, but it has changed a little bit in the month of March. So what we want to do is, today I took a client's budget and we modified March a bit because the last week of March was pretty bad. He's in an industry that the government completely shut down other than emergency services. So we budgeted for 1 month, one bad month in April, and that's sort of worst case scenario that we're willing to look at. And we just put the revenue at the highest that we could get it, which is a pretty bad case scenario. And then we looked at the expenses and we went through the expenses one by one. There are a lot of expenses in there that actually are going to be optional for us for the next 6 months, I believe. Things like loan payments, things like credit card payments, things like mortgage payments, things like, there's a lot of help coming right now from the Canadian government through BDC, as well as the big banks. And I should not say the big banks, maybe all banks. I've just talked to the big banks. So go into your budget, look at your financial plan for the next year. And if you have to change it a little bit based on this month, that's okay. But just try to look at how can I cut expenses or delay expenses to lose the least amount of money or at least make a bit of profit in this month. And then after that month, start to plan to ramp up again. And during that time, if you guys are going to have a slow April, which I really don't think we are, I think things are really going to start to look up next week. I really do. If you do have some downtime though, work on your marketing plan, which is a free template on our website. Work on your budget, which is a free template on our website. Work on your strategic plan, which we will put on the website, right? Yeah, by tomorrow?
We haven't finalized it, but we can.
By tomorrow at 5. Yeah, we'll put the strategic plan on the website too. So all the stuff you can download from there, they're templates. They tell you exactly how to do it. But these are sort of the big pieces of what I would say you need to do to work on your business. So if you've got some downtime, I want you to work on your business, make your strategic plan for the year, make your marketing plan, make your job descriptions and goals, your policies and procedures, and your manuals for people. And make sure that your financial budget is good. Make sure you have your goals planned out, and then what actually happens from your income statements, you put that in the actual columns. So all this stuff should be done anyways, but a lot of business owners don't have time to do it. So I find that it takes us years and years sometimes to get all this stuff in place. So if we do have a little bit of downtime, actually, before I say anything else, I'm feeling a little lost because I don't know who's open and who's not. Would you guys mind just putting in the chat if you're still open? If you can just type to me, is your business open? If you can just say yes or no. Awesome. Okay, so 8 out of 10 who answered are open. Okay, yeah. So I know there's been some government mandated closures like fitness facilities, dentists, those are emergency only. Fitness facilities are completely shut down. Just preventative, right? To make sure that we're managing the, I think they're calling it the curve. Sorry, I'm just gonna make sure everyone's muted again so that I don't have the echo. Okay. So I'm going to keep talking like you guys are open then, and I'm going to talk like if you might be slow and you have some time to work on these, I want you to work on your budget, your marketing plan, your job descriptions and goals, and your procedures for those job descriptions, and your strategic planning, which I'm going to get into in a minute here. Can I share my screen? What I also want you guys to make a plan for, and this is something that I've always recommended, but I never demanded, and I feel terrible about it, is a contingency plan. So what the contingency plan should include things like having cash reserves, having a work from home strategy if possible, having an online component to your business, and having multiple income streams.
No, we have to go into settings and change the stuff.
Okay, so I can't show you the strategic plan on my screen, but I can read it to you guys. And since you guys are okay looking or listening by, learning by listening right now, I imagine you'll be fine if I just read this to you. Just gonna go over this really quick so that you guys get an idea what strategic planning is. And it's making your plan for the next 12 months. And then we'll get it up on the website tomorrow, or you guys can even send us an email if you want, and we'll give you this template for free too. So basically in your strategic plan, the reason that we do this is because we want to have a strategy and a plan, a strategic plan that everybody's on board with. Everybody has the same end goal, the same vision, and we're all on the same page, spending the money and the time in the right places. So spending the time is often the one that I think gets overlooked. We often get really good at looking at our financial statements and our budgeting, looking at our numbers, but there's only so much you can tell by those. What you really want to look at is where are your hours being spent, right? So a strategic plan helps you make sure that the culture includes strategic thinking, that we have a strong plan, that the whole management team is aligned on a single vision, and that time and money are being spent on the activities and projects that will benefit the company and help move the needle in the coming year. Okay, now you can do this if you're a new business or if you've been in business a long time, and it works for every business, and it should be done in every business once a year. Usually in business coaching, what I do is I do a strategic plan with my clients, but it's broken down into pieces, and we do it over a year, but you can do it on your own too with this template. So strategic planning has us ask the questions: where are we now in our business? Where do we want to be? How are we going to get there? Who will do what? And how will we monitor our progress? So we involve the key people in our organization, anyone that you think should have input into the direction of the company. And the things that you want to think about prior to doing a session are company growth, staff culture, your strengths and weaknesses, the vision for the company, training programs and mentorship. This is a big area of opportunity for most people. Most people do not have really good training programs and mentorship, like ongoing mentorship in place. And that is a huge area of opportunity. Yeah, you could make so much more money if you had great training programs and retraining programs and mentorship programs. Processes and procedures, you want to discuss what works and what doesn't work. Your mission statement, your vision statement, and your culture statements, these should be reviewed and make sure that the whole team thinks that they're actually awesome. Because if you have a mission statement that you really like, but the staff doesn't really think it's cool, it's really hard to get them engaged. Oh, are we still not live on Facebook?
No, it didn't.
Oh, okay. So then questions to consider before the strategic planning session. So in this handout that you guys will get, you can give this to your team, whoever's going to be involved. The questions you want them to consider are: where do you think we are now? Where do you want us to be? How are we going to get there? Who will do what? How can we build in flexibility? This is a great question, because if we have flexibility built into our business, that would mean that when something like this happens, we are able to take a moment, pivot, think of new revenue streams, look at new business opportunities, maybe pull out of certain markets, maybe work from home if we need to. Flexibility in every form in your business is an invaluable tool. So definitely want to talk about building in flexibility during your strategic planning. Strengths and weaknesses, threats and opportunities in the marketplace. You want to think about any opportunities that you could exploit quite naturally with your strengths. Definitely want to talk about flexibility in terms of major shifts in technology, government, industry, etc. So the thing is, a lot of people have no idea how dependent they are on one type of income, or one person for income, or one client, or one, like there's a company that I know that the new government decided to stop covering a certain service. And this person was used to making $65,000 a day. And yeah, that's gone. It's no longer covered by healthcare. And 99.9% of those were paid for with government money. So that person's living the $65,000 a day lifestyle, and all of a sudden the government doesn't cover that anymore. So that's pretty risky. So you really want to come up with ways to be flexible and respond and change course if things like that happen, or if things like this happen, you know. And things do happen, you know, floods, fires, viruses, governments, like we have no idea what the government could change, right? So we really want to build in flexibility. Other things we're going to bring to the session and look at are quantitative and qualitative analyses of your business. We want to look at your financials. We want to look at what market share you currently have. We want to analyze your reputation. We want to gauge your expertise, what your customer satisfaction is, look at your conversion ratio, like your win-loss ratio, and other numbers that are important. So all your marketing numbers, bring those too. We want to revisit our mission, vision, and culture statements, make really clear strategic objectives. So your top 3 goals for the company, you want to set those. And then this entire plan is about achieving those goals. Okay, so we're going to do a SWOT analysis, but we're also going to do a competitive analysis, because I think that's way more quantifiable than a SWOT analysis. And Laura, on the website, there's something called, is it Differentiate for Success? On the website right now, there's something called Differentiate for Success, and that's how you do a competitive analysis. It's my way of doing a quantifiable, measurable way of saying, my competitors suck at this, and I'm really good at this, so here's my competitive advantage, and here's how I'm going to exploit it. Then you're going to make your action plan for the year, and you're going to have leadership plan. So that means the jobs, the KPIs, the procedures, how you're going to do the follow-up, the coaching, marketing and sales. You're going to do your marketing plan, which we also have for free on the website, and your sales processes. You really want to, I would draw out your customer process from top to bottom on a very long piece of paper, right from the very first time they inquire to the last interaction you have with them, and the processes that go in each place, you know, like the first time you talk to them procedure, the follow-up procedure, the delivery procedure, and the goodbye procedure, and then the follow-up procedure, you know, so planning that out. And then in your financial section, you're going to plan out your budget. You're going to set your goals for revenue, expenses, profit. Then every month you're going to compare it. So at the end, the most important part is giving out the projects and assignments and the KPIs to people, and making sure that you execute on follow-up. Because of all the people that I work with, all the successes, all the education they have, all the things that they know, nothing gets done unless they execute on follow-up. Like nothing. So they can be really smart, they can read all this stuff, they can be like, yeah, strategic planning. But if they don't actually put something in the calendar and follow up with the person and say, can I have that thing that you said that you would do? And you have to do this often. If you're managing your business, you have to be the one that does this. When you're lucky enough to have someone manage your business for you, that person can go ask for the things for you. But forever, someone has to ask employees and remind employees to do their job. Here's your goals, you hit your goals, or you didn't hit your goals, we got to talk about it. It's Friday, you said you'd have the report done, can I please have that? Like, that's just part of being a leader. So all that stuff, I know it sounds kind of boring, but those are the tools. Those are the things that you use. You create those, you fill those out, you implement them into your business, and you have a way more kick-ass business than your competitors, because most business owners aren't doing this stuff. Most business owners aren't doing personal development. Most business owners right now are complaining on Facebook or Netflixing. I'm not sure what they're doing actually. They're not here though. So the next section I want to do is we're gonna have Chris, the HR expert, who has been helping everyone so much for free the last couple days. I really appreciate you, Chris. Thank you. We're gonna give him the floor or the screen for about 10 minutes here, and then, or however long it takes him to talk. And then you guys can ask HR specific questions, so about anything you want. And then I'm gonna end the call with one more quick exercise with you guys. So Chris, please.
Can you hear me now? Okay, perfect. This is talking voice here. Okay. I just wanted to thank all of the employers who have reached out to me and have been patient with me over the past couple of days while I've been trying to get back to everyone. This has probably been one of the busiest weeks of my career so far, trying to answer all this information. So I appreciate everyone's patience while I'm trying to get the most accurate information available to you. As Kelly Ray mentioned, I just want to talk probably to build on what she was mentioning earlier. So from an HR perspective and being an owner and a leader, we want to make sure that we're communicating with our staff about what type of benefits they might have. Things like your employee assistance program are valuable resources for your current staff, maybe suffering from some mental health concerns. So make sure that you reach out to them, make sure that they know what short-term disability is available and have that available as well. I'm a firm believer in open and honest communication as much as possible. Now is not the time to withhold information or try to protect this as some sort of source of power within your organization. Now is the time to be open and honest and transparent with your staff. There's lots of fears. Let them know what's happening with the business. Let them know if you plan on closing as much as possible. Keep that open and honest communication so that they can make the plans that they need to. If your employees can work from home, support it. I was talking to one organization today and some employees with this organization where basically the answer from the organization was employees aren't as efficient working from home, so they need to be in the office. This is one of the biggest mistakes this company is making right now because the company has got to be absolutely out to lunch if they think the staff are 100% efficient right now based on where they were before. So really, I mean, you know, if you can support these employees working from home, give them that option. I've talked to some of those employees in that organization, and honestly, the first chance they get, they're leaving. They felt no support from leadership, no support from management in this crisis, and again, they're just looking at jumping ship as soon as they can. So if you're a business leader, business owner, take this opportunity to do what's right for your staff and help them through this process. Relax some of your policies if you have the option to. So when it comes to things like dress code, I know in the call on Tuesday, someone had mentioned dressing up for Halloween. I think these are some great opportunities for you to embrace some more flexible rules when it comes to either your flexible work hours, whether it be your dress code. Take this opportunity to really help your staff engage in the workplace, even though there might be less staff here right now. So those are just kind of the things, like the high level from just what you as a business leader and owner can be doing right now with some of your staff. Looking at more so some actionable items that you should be looking at right now is take the opportunity to take a look at your employment agreements and contracts to see what you have in place, as well as your company policies. If you have company policies in place, make sure that you are following what those say. So things like your sick leave policies. If you have termination agreements in place with your staff, make sure you're following those if it's heading down that direction. I've had quite a few different questions about layoffs over the past couple of days and what that looks like, temporary or permanent layoffs, and what type of options employers have right now. There are work-share available. Now, that hasn't really been an option for a lot of employers right now. So there are resources online that you can get on the work-share and what that process looks like. But I have on my website just now, as I was busy working away before this deadline here, trying to get some additional resources for employers on both layoffs as well as a how to apply for EI guide. So there's two different options on my website that will be available for you to download. A layoff guide for employers, as well as a how to apply for EI that you can distribute to your employees. That'll just kind of give them a little bit of a step-by-step process and the different areas that they need to do. So I'll post the link here on the chat box here shortly that you'll be able to go check that out and download those links. So if there are any specific questions about temporary layoffs, by all means, I'm happy to answer them. A lot of them should hopefully be available in the guide for you as well. Available. A lot of announcements yesterday regarding the self-employed individuals and what they might be entitled to. Sorry, Kelly Ray, where is the guide? If you go to my website, upsourcedhr.com/COVID-19, or just go to my website, upsourcedhr.com, there's a tab at the top called COVID-19. Click that, and you should be able to access the guide there. Resources for the self-employed, there's the emergency care benefit. We're still getting details about this. We've been told that the applications will be open in April and will be administered through the Canada Revenue Agency. This will provide up to $900 bi-weekly, so every 2 weeks, for those that are self-employed. Again, these measures have not been approved by Parliament yet. I find it unlikely that they won't be approved, but we are still waiting to see. There has to be a recall of Parliament in order for them to pass this legislation and make this law. However, like I said, I don't see these measures not passing. So we should receive some more information about this in the next couple of weeks, but they said that emergency care benefit for self-employed will be opening up in April. There is a little bit of a wage subsidy, and again, lots of questions about that. And again, that'll be 10% of an employee's wage up to approximately $1,200 over a 3-month period or a 90-day period, with a maximum of $25,000 per employer. That is for employers who qualify for the small business deduction. And again, I don't know the specifics on how that'll work. I know, Kelly Ray, you've been talking to some people to get some more information about that.
Sorry, Chris, I was reading a message from your wife. Sit closer to the mic.
Oh.
No, what were you saying? Sorry.
That's okay. No, about the small business deduction and the wage subsidy. Have you found any information about that program?
Laura, have we? No.
No. Okay. Again, I've been referring a lot of people to their accountants to try and figure out what that looks like as far as the wage subsidy. But I know you have to be a Canadian-controlled corporation and have income less than $500,000.
Taxable income. Yeah, sorry, I know what you're talking about now. There's just so many updates, you know what I mean? So the one thing that we're talking about now is, so if you're a small business and your taxable income is less than $500,000, you immediately, the way that you can start to save money is by not paying your payroll remittances. So when you do payroll, the amount of payroll that you would take off their check and give to the government, you can just keep that. And I think also there was another part of it. Anyways, up to 10% of the wage, I believe, and 25,000 total, up to $13.75 per employee, and up to 25,000 total for the whole organization for the whole year. So it's not going to be a lot, but I'm basically telling my clients, if you're in a cash flow crunch and there's something that you're going to pay late, the CRA is going to be the one who's going to allow you to do that, probably. Also, BDC has come out with some really wicked stuff in the last hour, actually. They're doing, just like a lot of the banks, though, a lot of the government money is going to flow through BDC, but they're being really generous with loans and giving you time to pay. So giving you like 6 months off of loan payments, that sort of thing. Lots of places are converting loans into interest-only payments for 6 months or however long you need. So the tone last time we got on live was, I felt very panicked and fearful. What are we going to do if we can't earn money? We won't be able to pay our bills. And I just hope that everyone is starting to feel like that, a little bit more ease, like I have been, knowing that that money is coming and employees can access the EI, right? I do want you to speak to layoffs, actually, Chris. Did you plan to do that?
Yep, no, I certainly can. Is there a question in particular? Like I said, I mean, I could probably
Sure.
talk for the next half hour on layoffs, but
yeah, so the question that's coming up the most for me, I guess, is because this is, we don't know if it's considered an act of God. And if it's a temporary layoff, which all of these are, right, then we should be giving them an ROE and notice, the same amount of notice we'd be giving them if we terminated them.
No, under the legislation for temporary layoffs, and again, this is temporary, basically what it is that an employer has to provide an employee with 1 week of notice of a pending layoff. If they're employed for less than 2 years, and anyone over 2 years is entitled to 2 weeks notice, except when the circumstances are unforeseeable circumstances. I've talked to employment standards about this in the past, and what they consider to be unforeseen circumstances are things like act of God. So if your facility burns down, for example, that would be considered unforeseen. Or if you are supplying everything to one company, your entire business is run one company and they go under, that could be considered an unforeseen circumstance. It's unclear as to whether or not this is as unforeseen or not, because business can still operate. There are, as you mentioned, some organizations or some industries like fitness facilities that have been mandated to close. I would consider, again, I'm not a legal expert, but I would consider that to be an unforeseen circumstance because you've been mandated to close. Other organizations, it's unclear. I've read several law blogs and posts. Sorry, I'm very quiet. I apologize. I'm trying to talk as loud as I can.
She's so far from her computer. It's not your fault. Look, she's over there doing the dishes or something. Andrea, come closer. I think she might maybe have a specific question too. Do you have a recommendation for how she can, because they're self-employed, they own the gym and it closed. So the place she should go is call the CRA or call EI?
No, you wouldn't necessarily need to call anyone. If you've been mandated to close, I would consider that to be an unforeseen circumstance. And at that point there, I would issue your temporary layoff notice for those employees, if that's the route you're choosing.
And what about for Andrea and Jamie as owners for help for income? There was something for that too, right?
Yeah, and that's the emergency, let me pull up my notes here. That's the emergency care benefit. And again, that won't be available for anyone until it'll be open in April for applications for that.
Emergency care benefit?
That's right.
Starts in April.
And that's up to $900 bi-weekly.
And it's $1,800 a month, or $900 bi-weekly. Did you hear that, Andrea?
Yeah, I did. Can I just ask, so the emergency care benefit, I was under the impression that was for folks that are taking care of somebody who is ill or under quarantine, and we aren't under quarantine. We just can't have our business open to the public. So
yeah, there's lots of different names going out, and they all start with the name emergency. So there's emergency isolation support, there's emergency care benefit, there's emergency support benefit. So all of these are getting a little bit mixed up in terms of what they're actually providing. So I pulled this right off of the Government of Canada website that states that the emergency care benefit provides up to $900 bi-weekly. So that's the information that's the program that I was able to find for that particular resource for self-employed individuals.
We'll include that link too with the recording. Okay.
So I'll just touch base on the temporary layoff as well. So again, if you can't provide the notice, you would issue the notice for employees. 60 days, you have to make a decision whether you're going to be able to recall those employees back or not. At which point, then at that point there, they would have to transition to a permanent layoff. So
That's not going to happen, guys. Don't worry.
and the specifics on all of that are included in that layoff guide, like I said, on my website.
Okay. Is that your list of things you wanted to say?
Yeah, like I said, there's a couple additional benefits. Like I mentioned, the emergency support benefits. Not a lot of the details. It's very, very vague on how a lot of these programs will work, unfortunately. But again, that one is delivered through the CRA to provide up to $5 billion in support for workers who are not eligible for EI and are facing unemployment. And then the Alberta government has released their emergency isolation support to those who have to self-isolate, and will be available early next week on alberta.ca.
Okay. So for business owners, because I think a lot of us on the call, well, all of us on the call are business owners, the most relevant probably money that we're looking for. I think all of us have probably by now found you, and you have helped us with temporary laying off staff. Actually, not me. My business partner and I, in this business and the other business, we are not closing unless the government makes us close. So we're not doing layoffs. But I know that a lot of people have had to do layoffs or are considering doing layoffs because I think we should talk about this. There's this social pressure from some people who have closed, basically saying that we are reckless and socially irresponsible by staying open. I strongly disagree. I believe that the businesses that are still open are providing massive comfort and service and care and connection and community to clients in a very safe way. We're following all the recommendations and all the cleaning procedures, the symptoms, traveling restrictions, all that. And the people that we're serving, the people that we're helping, we're making a massive impact for these people. So I truly believe in the whole cost benefit analysis and the benefit of these businesses staying open while still respecting the regulations and recommendations from the government. The benefit is huge. And, the possible costs that we have to consider is that there may be someone who might have a germ, who might not know, who may carry it, and someone else may get it, and then we might end up with another case of it. In my opinion, and every credible thing I've ever read, the risk is still incredibly low. And even if someone does get it, the risk of dying from the virus is incredibly low. It's a virus, unless you're older or immunocompromised, right? So for me, if you're open, just a note here. If your business is using a payroll company, they can help you do the ROEs for layoffs. Also, accountants are doing ROEs for layoffs too. A lot of accountants will. Thanks, Chantel. So I know a lot of people wanted to talk about that. Do you guys want to open that up and talk about that for a minute? Anybody want to say like, hey, we should be closing. Hey, we shouldn't be. Like, I have a question about that. Or like, yes, let's stay open. Any thoughts? And yes, the emergency care benefit is for those that are self-employed who have to self-isolate. So it's not for people who get mandated to close.
That's
so
great.
Andrea and Chris, maybe you guys can take this conversation offline. And Chris, can you help her look into that?
Yeah, you bet.
Thank you so much. Okay, does anybody have any questions about staying open or not? I think I kind of summed up my view on that. Okay, so I feel like today had a lot less energy than last time. I'm worried about you guys. I would love to see a lot more enthusiasm and smiles and hope. I know this is a tough time right now. I also know it will end. And I also know that you can use this time incredibly well to plan to have a really kick-ass business when it comes flooding back. And, I think the reason the tone is so different today is because of the gosh, I've probably talked to 50 businesses in a day. Of the last 20 I've talked to, they're thriving. Like they've figured out a way to serve more, just in a different way. You know, like Purple Carrot is a local store here. They're doing delivery. Bloom Diggity is doing contactless delivery. Who else is hopping? The other grocery store. Big Al's Auto Repair is hopping. Who else have we talked to that's been busy? Our shoe store is still busy, you know. People on the call, if you want to share, if you're busy, I'm not going to breach confidentiality and share how busy you are unless you let me. Anybody else want to share how busy they are or how they feel about staying open? We just got a shy bunch tonight. Okay, well, I want to end the call with an exercise, okay? It's exactly the exercise we started with, but we're going to do a much better job at it, and we're going to write it down. I can see you guys. You guys think your camera's off, but I can see you, all of you. So I'm going to know if you write this down. I'm going to write it down. Everybody have a pen and paper? Okay, guys. So 12 months from now, where are you? Who are you with? What have you achieved? And how does it feel? Okay, so where are you 12 months from now? Where are you? Where do you picture yourself sitting? Are you in your office with your feet on your desk, watching TSN? So finally have something to put on TSN again. Are you on a beach because it's vacation time? Are you home more with your family? Where are you? Get that clear, get that written down. And two, who are you with? We talked a lot on the last call about surrounding yourself with amazing people. Your life cannot be amazing unless you're surrounded with amazing people. I've really been looking at that the last few weeks. And I really am conscious of who I spend the most time with. And I am killing it this year because I'm killing it with my top 5. So my business partner, Laura, the person that I work the most with in my office, my husband, other employees, my friends, like I'm looking at them all and I'm like, yeah, I spend a lot of time with you and you're all awesome and you're all successful and you're all positive. Like no wonder I'm having a good year. So who are you with in 12 months when you're enjoying your success? And then what have you achieved? So get really detailed on this. Like what has changed? Pick an amount of money you want to have in the bank so that if something like this happens again, you feel fine. You're just chill. You're like, that's cool. We can shut down for a month or 2 and work on our business or take a vacation. A lot of people will say that their business is totally systemized and it just runs perfectly and well and it produces a lot of profit. And they don't have to work as much. And last, I just really want you guys, even if you're not indulging me in writing this down, I really want you to get into that feeling place of how does it feel 12 months from now to have achieved the things that you wanted to achieve, to be hanging out with the people you want to hang out with, and just enjoying your success. Like how does it feel to be that person? I'm hoping it feels good. I have a very unresponsive audience today. You're probably talking, but you're on mute and you think you're talking, but I can't hear you. Does anybody have any questions before we hang up? I'm going to put all that stuff that you should be working on your business on the website. So if you are having any downtime or any slow time and you're like, I want to make my business better and I want to be ready for when the rush of people come back, and they will, and a lot of your weak competitors will have been killed off, you're going to have a lot more business. So we'll make sure that all these resources are on tmhbusiness.com for you guys to download. And we're going to do more calls like this in April. So we will send you guys the links. If you have any other questions, ask them now.
I just want to say thank you to you and everyone who shared, and for everyone that's showing up. I mean, that means a lot to I think everybody just putting themselves out there and not being afraid. So yeah, good job, everybody.
Thanks for sharing that, Jeff. That's I love that that came from someone other than me. Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate every one of you being on here. I know there's a lot of other stuff you could be doing right now. And I know getting together with like-minded business owners and really reminding ourselves what's important really helps. And everybody from the last call expressed that it really helped them. So each and every one of you that are on here that are sharing, you're helping each other, okay? So I want to leave you with that 12-month vision. Write it out, put it on the wall, look at it every day, and remember what we're working towards. Okay, guys. I will see you in a couple weeks, hopefully on the next one. And we're here if you need any help. If you have any questions, you can get a hold of Chris or I.
Great. Thanks.
Bye, guys.